Hiya, hiya. Breaking news. How do you have breaking news on a tape? The only news that's going to be breaking news is the broken news. That's what I ought to do, is news that this is news you can use and put it on Charmin or some other brand. This is it. The Buffalo has become the focal point of the country because they have the least amount of people dying from the COVID virus, I guess. And they're right next to Canada, which is the land of God's frozen people. And, you know, people come over now from Canada. They used to come there to shop, but now they can't cross the border. And the economy's hurting. That's how the chicken wing started, was the Canadians on Sunday had blue laws. No liquor, no shopping. So they came to Buffalo on Sunday. Liquor and shopping go together real well. So, you know, the Frank and Teresa Anchor Bar, that's the place I used to go. They would dance to Tarantella when I was 90. I wasn't 90. They were 95 years old. I feel 90, that's all. So the Frank and Teresa Anchor Bar served food. They have to serve food in order to have liquor. That's a state law. And now someone was saying, I think the mayor, no, it was the governor of New York recently, said, well, don't eat pretzels or peanuts, don't snack, but eat real food. You have to. You have to eat food, or you can't serve food. Booze. I might mix up here. Nothing's changed except when I go back to Buffalo, my old friends are still there in that bowling alley. They're still in that same spot. I think the Blue Jays, Toronto Blue Jays, playing in the Buffalo Stadium is going to be great. They built a new stadium in Buffalo, you know. It's quite nice, but I don't know what they mean. They have to bring it up to major league standard. What is that? Change the hot dogs or something? Although Salem's is the best hot dogs you could possibly buy. I don't know. Maybe it's a thing that maybe the bases have to be platinum or something. I don't know. I don't know what's a major league standard. For all these teams, I worked for Gene Autry, and he had the Angels in L.A. Now, I remember when I worked there on the radio, and he got married to a 35-year-old woman, and I said, good old Gene, he was a great cowboy, you know. I said, he's back in the saddle again. I wasn't too long on that job. But he bought the Angels, and he had Reggie and a lot of good players, you know. It was a baseball team that eventually won. However, back to the story. The Blue Jays are moving to Buffalo just for their opening game. They were tossed out of Pittsburgh, Philly. Pennsylvania doesn't want them. Too much COVID. Also, Canada doesn't want to have the crowd. They don't want any of this nonsense. They're very protective. And who else is it that didn't want them? Baltimore, I think, Maryland, because they're not ready to receive them yet. So Buffalo gets stuck, like always, you know. And so the first ball ought to be tossed out by Sandy Beach, who just recently would not sign his new contract. He was 80 years old and the best radio personality left over in Western New York. The whole country, actually. He's one of our guys. You can watch him in the interview I had with him. It was not an interview, it was a hang with Danny Neverett and Sandy Beach on the YouTube or on Facebook. The late Joey Reynolds or Joey Reynolds. There's someone walking behind me? It's only a bird tweeting. So Sandy Beach should not throw out the first ball. I guess Nancy Pelosi should. But then, too, they wouldn't have her because she's a ball breaker. Oh, and the other thing they had to have there with that Buffalo game, just as we move this along very quickly, is that the Republican National Convention is not being held in Florida because of the pandemic. Although this governor here was counting on it, he's friends with Trump and was the first guy to open up the states. He opened up Florida, and now we're number 2. I think California's got the most virus, and Florida's number 2 or something like that. But, you know, when you're in the top 10, people don't want to be gathering around for a convention, I hope. And I believe that they ought to do that in Buffalo. Everything ought to go to Western New York, because Western New York is it's romantic. You know, they gave the country 2 presidents. Shot McKinley, I guess we took one back. But you know, this is it. I mean, we're a country of diversity, and what do they call it again? When they put everybody in the job that doesn't know the job, they call that inclusion. Yeah, that's it. I wish someone would have thought of me when they had this inclusion. Would have got me out of that neighborhood I was in. and in the poverty that I was in. But you know what? I did get out. I joined the Boys Club of Buffalo, and I got out of there. So it's all works out okay. You know, it always works out good. Thank God for inclusion. I'm going to go have my Aunt Jemima pancakes and my Uncle Ben's converted rice. What was he, Catholic once? And also I'm going to have a little bit of the Colonel Sanders. Boy, you missed him, huh? He had a plantation. Why don't you get on his case? All those buckets of chicken. Can you imagine changing those logos? That's like that I Love New York thing that you see all the time. Oh, but that's going to be $1 billion change. Anyhow, why take statues down when we should be putting them up? And the reason why we should put them up is because you ought to see the movie 450 Fahrenheit. It's a British film, actually, an American film about England, where they burn all the books so society can start all over again. And that's what we'd like to do, is burn everything that reminds us of something that was in the past or something we didn't like. And then we can start all over again. I was going to burn my mother-in-law. Only a joke, Ma, come on. It's a Reynolds wrap.